So, what seems to be the problem?
Lose the gun, please. No, no, don't stick it under my desk.
No, I was just looking for the trash can. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, so what's going on? I thought I got the job already.
Oh, you did. I mean, technically you did anyway. This is just a second part of the original interview, and, well, some questions about something that you had us read before that we found to be a little bit odd, shall we say. This is what I call the interview follow-up for odd behavior detection.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I've never heard of such a thing.
Well, we have a new policy in this company that...
you know what? On second thought, I don't want to know.
No?
Let's just go with it. Get it out of the way, as they say.
Good, man. Good. There's an attachment here in your resume that says you were forcibly remarried. I mean, we were all wondering, well, what exactly does that mean?
Well, it means exactly what it says.
Well, in this country, nobody can force you to marry somebody. There's laws against that,
Yeah, but in my case, it's not as simple as all that.
Ah, really? Well, I didn't think it would be. Would you like to explain?
Okay. See, in the days following the death of my wife, I was in a dark place for a while.
I can understand that.
Well, and I was broke, so, well, I started robbing people.
Robbing people? Oh, well, I can understand that, I guess.
Well, I really had no choice back then.
Yeah.
Anyway, my robberies were done with, well, limited success.
Limited. Were you going to say maybe no success?
Yeah, well, you read me like an open book. No success at all, so I decided to rob a bank.
Rob a bank, I see. And how did that work out for you?
Not so good. I started out in good spirits. I had my jacket on.
Oh, good thinking.
I wrote a little note that said, "I'm armed and dangerous."
Really? Did you really do that?
And then I put my mean face on, and I got into the bank.
Yeah.
And I went straight to the window.
Good thinking.
Gave the lady the note, and she casually looked at me and the note, and she started writing on it.
What? Are you kidding? She started writing. What did she write on it?
I know. Well, weird, right? You just don't start writing when somebody's robbing you.
No.
Yeah, you get scared and put the money on the table, right?
Yeah. Well.
Or at least hit the red button or something. Come on.
I know. All right. Calm down, Mr. Leo.
Ridiculous.
Tell me what she wrote.
Well, she wrote how my timing was really bad because they were just unloading money from the truck out front. And
What?
yeah, well, and there were 4 armed guards standing right there by the door.
Oh, come on. You didn't look around when you came into the bank?
Oh, sorry. I didn't know that was a rule.
Well, yeah, that's common sense.
I mean, first time robber here, remember?
Yeah, well, okay, go on. And then?
I panicked. She handed me a pen, one of those with a chain on it, that little twerp.
Yeah.
So I started writing, and I asked her what I should do. She wrote back to me that whatever I decide to do, I should do it quick, because the guards had already noticed that something's going on.
So how did you get out of that one? And I'm having a little trouble hearing you over here, so maybe you could just speak up a little bit, Mr. Leo. I want to make sure I understand all this, So then what happened then?
She had this really wonderful idea. She wrote to me to get the ring off my finger.
Okay.
The one from my late wife, and then quickly kneeled down and proposed to her.
Oh, you got to be kidding. You're making this up. You proposed to her?
Well, what would you have done? I didn't exactly have plan B in my back pocket,
Well,
and I could almost feel the guy behind me breathing down my neck.
Oh, that's not good.
Do you know how distracting it can be trying to write discreetly with some guy standing right in back of you like that?
I can imagine.
Well, that was bad enough when I had to turn and ask him how to spell should. Does that have an L in it?
Should?
Yeah.
Well, on second thought,
Yes.
She had a pretty smart idea.
Well, that's what I thought too. And needless to say, I got down on my knees. I took the ring off and politely asked for everybody's attention.
And they fell for it?
Well, how could they not? You don't pop the big question every day.
True.
I began saying, "Will you?" And then I remembered I didn't know her name.
Oh,
yes. So I glanced up at her name tag.
This sounds like a weird movie. And it's okay. So you looked up, and what did the name tag say?
Well, it said Sarah. So
Sarah. Okay.
Yeah, Sarah. So I said, Sarah, will you do me the honor of becoming my wife? And you know what she said? She said yes.
Really?
Everybody started congratulating us, even the guards. Then her manager gave her the rest of the day off.
What a fool.
And the guy who was behind me offered to be my best man.
Or even more of a fool. This whole thing just sounds like a dream.
More like a nightmare.
Well, hey, she got you out of trouble.
Yeah, I know, but she took it serious. She demanded that I marry her.
Well, hey, that's not so bad. At least you didn't get sent to jail. That was the lesser of two evils, wasn't it?
Well, you're wrong about that, buddy. The lesser evil would have been prison.
Well.
At least prison would be over after a while.
Well, hey, didn't you try to get rid of her after this was all over?
I tried almost right away. As soon as we left the bank, I realized that she's a nutcase.
Yeah, for sure.
I took her keys and I told her I'm driving.
Okay, you took the car keys and told her that you're driving, and then what?
That's right. Well, then I put her in the trunk.
Oh, no.
Figured I'd scare her a little, make her think more.
You didn't.
Think a little more about this,
And it didn't work, though, right?
Well, a cop stopped us a couple miles down the road.
So he saw you getting her into the trunk?
Well, no, he stopped me for speeding.
You are an idiot.
Yeah, well, of course I had to explain to him whose car it was.
Sarah's car?
Well, I said my fiance's car, and I explained to him that I was actually taking her to the hospital.
Oh, well. Wasn't he just a little bit suspicious? I mean, like you being the only one visible in the car and all?
Well, yeah, he kind of did notice that, and he said, I don't see any fiancé in the car, so that's when I told him, I said, well, that's because she's in the trunk, silly man.
You really said... You call him a silly man? I bet he asked why on earth she would be in the trunk, right?
Oh, hey, you're good. That's exactly what he said.
This is just too much. So how did you get her out? How did you get out of that one?
Well, I told him she's allergic to the sun.
Allergic to the... Wow. Is that something that's pretty common?
How should I know? I'm no doctor.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
And so then he checked in the trunk?
Yeah. I opened it up, and there she was, just lying there, minding her own business, chewing on some gum she found in there, and... Then that nosy cop started asking her questions.
I bet you found that pretty funny, huh?
Well, it's ridiculous.
Did she play along with it?
Not exactly. She told him a different story. She explained that she had lost her balance and fell down the stairs after I proposed to her.
Oh, I see. Well, what did the cop say to that?
He said congratulations and slammed the trunk lid back down.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I heard her voice saying some really nasty things about his mother.
Then he let you go?
Well, not without a warning.
Oh, yeah, the warning. They always got to do that, don't they?
He came this close to my face and said, listen, punk, I don't know what's going on here, and I don't really care. But I have your driver's license number right here, and I know where you live.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
That's a threat.
I want to make sure your fiancée doesn't fall down any stairs again, because if she does, you're going to fall down some stairs, too.
Wow.
About 6 times in a row. I'll personally see to it. Yeah, see, he's getting tough, man. And then he slowly started walking back to his cruiser, but stopped and looked back at me with a sneer on his face,
That's unreal. And then you went and married her, right?
Well, I tried to get rid of her a couple more times, but it only got me in bigger trouble.
Well, you lived happily ever after, right?
Well, we went to Vegas, to one of those drive-through wedding chapels. Yeah, it was my idea, actually. I read somewhere that 3 out of 4 marriages from out there end up in a divorce within 1 year,
Okay, so how long has it been now?
7 months, 19 days, and 3 hours.
Oh, you got that down pat, don't you? Well, there's still hope for you, my friend.
I don't know, Mr. Employer. I'm not so sure anymore.
Oh, come on now, it's not that bad. let's stop right there. We're finished for today. Thank you, Mr. Leo.
Well, thank you, Mr. Employer.
Get a grip.
Do I still have the job?
Well, we were checking your story for possible behavioral problems, and that's why you're here again. But so far, a majority of the men on the board think that you're very normal, and they would all have done the same things in your situation. You okay? Yes. I'll get that phone. Just hold on, because you have the job. But I highly suggest you both stay away from that bank. You have just listened to the second interview, originally written by an unknown author and rewritten by myself after making many changes and adding my own touches. And Mr. Employer was played by myself, and Mr. Leo was acted by John Morley. We are both residents of Exeter, New Hampshire. During the last few minutes of this recording, you heard me say that I would answer that phone. Well, John had his cell phone turned on, and it rang while we were still recording. So I just added that line and kept going. The date was October 18, 2013. John and I both had a lot of fun creating this, and we hope that you enjoyed it at least half as much as we did while making this short script come to life. I'm Chuck Curtis. Thank you for listening.